All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Human Robot, and they're out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this is their Czech 10 degrees Plato. So this is a 10 degrees Plato Czech-style Pale Lager that comes in at 4.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review, and this can is just under 2.5 months old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a former beer tuber, Joe of the now defunct NEPA Beer Reviews, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him for this beer. At the end of September at 2022 Beer Tuber Palooza, Joe gave me a mixed 4-pack of Human Robot lagers, and I've reviewed the first 3, and this is the 4th and final beer of that 4-pack. And I will just say, no spoilers, but all 3 of the beers that I've drank before this have been delicious in their own right. They just know what they're doing when it comes to lagers. So this is a Czech-style Pale Lager. And it's 4.2%. And full disclosure, I did have a couple ounces of this courtesy of Joe at Beer Tuber Palooza, but you know, it's a big bottle share. I just remember enjoying it, but I usually like Czech Pilsners, Czech Pale Lagers and things of that nature. It's just kind of in my wheelhouse when it comes to lagers nowadays. So anyway, let's give it a pour here. Now, it's a little bit older. When he gave it to me, it was like, 10 days old or something, or like 2 weeks old. I've had so much beer that I've had to review over the past 2.5, 3 months that, I figured this one would hold up as long as I kept it cold and everything. We should be fine. It's not like an IPA, so that's why this is a little bit older. Anyway, yeah, that looks beautiful. That has that golden, like deep golden color. Pretty good clarity, a little bit of chill haze, but pretty good clarity, decent carbonation. Just under 2 fingers of a soap sudsy, bright white looking head. Does it look like a Czech-style lager of some sort? Sure, let's get a nose. So I think the difference between like a Czech Pilsner and a Czech style Pale Lager, typically the Pale Lagers themselves, I think, are a little bit lower in ABV. They're very akin, I think, to Pilsners, just a little bit less intense in general, and obviously lighter in ABV. And that's kind of what this smells like. I'm getting this like bready, slightly crackery malt character. Then there's a spicy herbaceous hop note. A little bit maybe of like a red apple core. Maybe a touch of like a caramel, honey, something like that, a little bit of a sweetness. Yeah, I mean, this smells like so many Czech lagers that I have reviewed on my channel, and most of them have been Pilsners. It just doesn't have the intensity. It has all those characteristics, but just a little subdued, like 25% less as far as the intensity goes. Anyway, it smells really good, so let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Joe. Yeah, it's... Oh. This is fucking so good. It's so good. And again, I don't know how many times I can say this in like, German Pilsner, Czech Pilsner, Helles lagers, anything that I review in the lager realm, I'll always say like, I'm not a huge lager guy, but I think I've kind of turned the corner in the last year or so, because this is just hitting the spot. Body on this, I would say lower side of medium body. For 4.2%, that's great. The mouthfeel, super crisp. This is a crispy boy. This has a moderate to maybe a touch over moderate carbonation. It's really smooth going down on the palate, but it's a crispy boy for sure. On the taste, everything that I said in the nose carried over, and there's a little bit more of like a slight fruitiness, almost like a slight citrus tone, but right at the forefront, it's bready, maybe a bit crackery, but more to the bready, like a white bread side of things. It dives underneath the palate, so it's there. And then as it transitions through, I get a little bit of, again, that citrus, more like a slight like lemon character than anything. It's very nice. It's not like juicy. It just has maybe like a little pithy zesty, but it's definitely noticeable as far as citrus goes. Maybe a touch of like a caramel, maybe more of a... I take it back, not caramel. Maybe a touch of like a little bit of a honey, just like a slight honey kind of character. And then the second half of the palate, here's where the bitterness comes in, and the hop character has this very spicy, herbaceous kind of hop character. This is mild to moderately bitter, right in between, right smack dab in the middle. It has a semi to full-on dry kind of finish. Very balanced. Again, all that sweet, bready malt character at the front, balanced out by the spicy, herbaceous hop character on the back of the palate. But maybe because the bitterness isn't as pronounced as maybe like a Czech Pils or like a German Pils, I think that dryness helps it out as far as a balance from the balance perspective of this beer. 4.2%, you can't tell, and this is just this is good. This is really good. It's not my favorite, human robot. I think that Hallertauer Pils, their German style Pilsner, is my favorite so far from them, which is crazy because I prefer Czech lagers to German, well, Pilsner specifically. Czech Pils usually are more in my wheelhouse than German Pils, but their German Pils was fucking top notch. This isn't far behind for a 4.2% Czech-style Pale Lager, though. It's really good. So, rating on the Czech 10 degrees Plato. I think the Plato, they have like 8 degrees, 10 degrees. Usually, I think like a 10 degrees is around 4% is kind of how it translates. So I have no problems whatsoever giving this beer a, I'm going to go high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.3 out of 5. This is fucking awesome. It's just, there's not much more I can say about it other than it's a really well-made lager, period. I could easily drink the rest of this in a couple minutes and want another, and it's 4.2%, so I could still do that even now. Price point availability, here's where it goes slightly sideways, but hear me out. These are $15 4-pack at the brewery. Now, it's a 4.2% Czech-style Pale Lager, right? That's almost $4 a can. I get it. But it's in Philadelphia. You're talking about a big city, huge city, millions of people. So typically when you go to a bigger city, a lot of the stuff costs more. So I get it. I would say it's worth it for this. And I know that sounds crazy to somebody. You'd be like, that never. I can, go get a favorite Pale Lager for, $10 a 6-pack or whatever. And I get it, but this is quality through and through. So if you want to try human robot stuff and you're in and around Philly and you like lagers, like do it. Like even from a price perspective, do it. They make good beer. Now, would this be something I buy all the time? Probably not from the price point, but keep that in mind. And availability, I think it's only at their brewery, maybe in and around Philly, but I think pretty much only at the brewery. So I can't thank Joe enough for all 4 of the human robot beers I've had. They've all been delicious to varying degrees. I think the Pils and this are my favorites. Yeah, they are. They're just fucking well-made beer. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. 4.2% goes down like water, but thankfully it tastes way better than water. Anyway, appreciate it. Thanks, Joe. To the next one. Cheers.